What's happening, people? Welcome to this episode of Everything 9000. We've got Ishan and Amra in the building, and today we're going to be talking about the Queen. God rest her soul. You know, we took a bit of time after this one. We didn't want to be like disrespectful talking about this in the moment. You know, let the country mourn, let things happen. I know people on this podcast, have certain particular strong views. Their Instagram stories have shown that. But you know, now's the right time. The funeral happened on Monday the 19th. We're about 5 or 6 days after that. So let's get into it. Well, what I want to talk about is how should minorities feel about the Queen? Because I've seen a lot online, not just brown people, but black people too, minorities in general. They've had a lot of mixed feelings, if not, you know, they're following the sentiment of what you're feeling, right? Go on, you just give your view.
Well, one thing that I really kind of like noticed first of all, like, you know, when it was announced that she passed away, there was a lot of minorities that I follow on Instagram and stuff, and they were just like, yeah, fair play if they want to mourn the Queen, yeah. But like, I felt a bit like, to my initial reaction was, okay, yeah, it's sad that an old lady's died, but like for me, what she represents through the crown in itself, you know, they're like, so for me, I don't want to sound again like, you know, people. It's you got to be very careful with what you say, because there's so many like.
Listen,
there's so much
you're getting cancelled after this,
right? But then
just speak your heart.
It's not so much like, you know, I thought like people were enforcing others to like mourn like when they don't want to. Like, to me, it made no difference, right? It made absolutely no difference to me on my life. Okay, yeah, I got on with my life as it was. So for me, it kind of bothered me a little bit, like how especially minorities were banging on about like, you know, all right, like. They were banging on about stuff like My Majesty, you know, and all of My Queen, etc.
Why does that make you feel upset?
Because, like, at the end of the day, right, yeah, look, who was Queen Elizabeth II, okay, yeah?
The Queen of the country, bruv.
Yeah, Queen of the country, but what does the crown represent?
I don't know, you tell me.
What does it represents the British Empire, and what is British Empire? The British Empire is the single most white supremacist, most violent institution we've had over the last 200 or 300 years, right? She is the head of that, okay, yeah. And a lot of people were saying, oh, well, yeah, it's the Queen. The Queen didn't do all this stuff, right? Yeah, the British Raj was already abolished by the time she came in. But you have to realize the crown, even now, the whole, the monarchy, like, you know, the whole family, the royal family, they all live off the legacy of the British Empire, right? Okay, if you go back 200-300 years, they're all living off it. They're still enjoying the loot. If you look at the crowns, for example, you'd got to see the actual crown itself of the Queen during a funeral, and there was a diamond within it, and that's an African diamond worth about £300 million.
A lot of Africans have been calling out online to return that particular diamond.
But then it's
on the scepter, isn't it?
Exactly, right? And the very crown of the British Queen. So it's they're not blameless, you know. The Queen, Elizabeth wasn't blameless, I feel like, and a lot of people felt because this is the only Queen they've known, they felt like some sort of connection to her. But to me, it just seems absurd, because if you just pick up one book, right, because of like what the empire has done in the past, and because the legacy of the empire continues, and the current royal family continue to enjoy those loots and so on, yes, that's why I kind of felt a bit like, why are these people like said you know, kind of like showing so much deference to a queen? It's not our queen. We live in this country, but why do we have to accept the queen? The whole concept of the monarchy is so outdated.
And what's your views on this?
You know what, yeah, I've had these chats with you like offline, and you go in, bruv, but I think you're holding back. You know what it is, yeah? The truth is, yeah, online people were sad, right? And I think rightly so, people can be sad. You shouldn't be getting upset because you see other people getting upset, or you think other people with colour are getting upset. Like, why does that make you upset, bro? Okay, like, and the thing is, listen. Firstly, I don't give a shit if people like agree or disagree with me, anyone watching this, right? Listen, a human just died, yeah? Some of the comments you see online, I think are quite vile, yeah? Like, I saw clips of like Meghan Markle, even just the royal family, like Meghan Markle's out, I think it was in Windsor, and like people were like, by purpose, like not shaking her hand, that. Listen, at the end of the day, yeah, these lot have been born into a royal family, yeah. They had no control over the family that they've been born into. Just like I have no control, you have no control. There are people all over the world, and they've been born into a family, and now their circumstances, their environment is their environment. So why should we treat them differently just because they're, I mean, they've been born into that family. Yeah, another thing, right? Another thing, like, what's the last thing that the Queen like actually like? When's the last time she ordered to kill someone, bruv?
Okay, look, I'll tell you.
I know in history.
You made a couple of points. Let me tell you. You talked about how we're born into the family that we are. Yeah, I agree. It's not her fault that she was born into a royal family. It wasn't like Charles' fault that he's born into a royal family. All of these people, okay, I get that point. But what you have to realize is what really pisses me off about the current royal family and why I think monarchy should be abolished anyway is because not a single one of them, not a single member of that family has actually acknowledged any of the past. Okay, yeah, they kind of live on, okay, yeah, as if nothing has happened in the past and this is all like the British glory, okay, yeah, and that's all it's ever seen as.
You didn't realise.
No.
Every media announcement, any news that comes out of the royal family is very controlled and monitored closely alongside with the BBC, right? That's their main media outlet.
I'm not like that.
Do you really expect them to come out today and be like, we are sorry for the actions of the British Empire?
Yeah, like, if they're gonna kind of live off it, if they're gonna live in the legacy of it, then why not?
I'm with
because then
that's fueling more.
It's not fueling more. It's not. It's actually no. It's not. It's actually making peace with people. People that like me who are kind of like who are kind of like worked up about it.
So they come out tomorrow and say they're sorry, right?
Yeah.
But then the next day they've still got the Kohinoor.
Yeah, no, this.
And you're telling me that's not going to piss you off?
No.
Then it's going to be like, oh, they've apologized.
I disagree with that. No, okay, look, I'll tell you a little bit about Queen Elizabeth herself. Okay, why I dislike her in particular as well. Okay, yeah.
The second.
Yeah, well, sorry, the Queen Elizabeth II, right? Okay, why I disliked her in particular because she seems like an old cute lady. Oh, fine, okay.
I thought she was one still.
I don't know how actually cute she actually is. She's always had this persona. Okay, yeah. She has. You know what? The Jallianwala the massacre, right? That happened. Right, okay, yeah. So I haven't actually been there, but the Jallianwala massacre, right, when the Jallianwala massacre,
yeah,
when that happened, the Queen was on a trip with Prince Phillips,
right,
and they'd actually gone and visited it, right, and so the Queen went around and stuff. She said, "Oh yeah, what happened was like I'm paraphrasing, okay, not the exact lines."
So she acknowledged it.
She said, "Okay, no." She said what happened was really sad, blah blah blah, but she actually stopped short of apologizing.
Okay,
right? She didn't apologize for it, okay, and then Prince Phillips. Who then
Philip,
whatever his name is, man, I don't give a shit. But
that's generally how the Queen has spoken. You know, the role of the Queen is to be non-partisan, non-emotional.
Yeah,
it's not to delve into.
No, but how is apologizing for a massacre being being partisan? It's not. It's acknowledging what happened in the past and it's actually accepting it and saying, "Look, we were wrong."
Also, generally, what I've noticed from when the Queen speaks. It's of few words anyway. Maybe that's just her personality.
It's not her personality. It's calculated that we're not going to apologise for our past.
How would you know that? Is that
because when have they ever apologised for their past? They've never apologised for their past. It's not just in India. They've committed atrocities all over the world. In Africa, right? The British Empire, the British monarchy was one of the first slave traders, and they made so much money off it. Yeah, so they don't acknowledge any of that. Have they apologized for any of it?
I'm not saying this is necessarily like good things, right? I know, like this little island, right, has literally gone to like half the world. You know,
looted it,
made slaves, stole everything. But listen, let me ask you another question, right? I'm not here saying that's right because I know, I mean, it's not the most moral thing to do. But in like human history, when have you ever seen a leader or a king or a queen that hasn't done that? A ruler that hasn't done that?
Look, I'll tell you a thing about empires. No, I get it.
Hasn't that always happened?
Yeah, and I was actually...
It's happened everywhere.
Yeah. Look, there's one thing about empires. When a king is building an empire, it's always going to be violent. Okay, we as Sikhs sometimes get quite nostalgic about the Sikh empire. We talk about how, Maharaja Ranjit Singh had such this great empire and stuff. And that empire was built, like, it wasn't built without violence, right, yeah?
Yeah.
There's always going to be violence when you build empires. But the British Empire itself... The reason, like, we should care about that, okay, yeah, is because we continue to live in its legacy. Even until now. It wasn't even until, like, literally...
How do we continue to live in this legacy?
We do.
I'm saying how.
We live in the colonial legacy that the Britons are left. Look, for example, you're here. right?
Exactly. So
Right?
you.
But you're here by choice, right?
No, we're here by choice, okay, yeah, but what I mean to say is like, if you look at the conditions of India pre kind of empire and look at the conditions of India post empire, right? Yeah, so India before, when East India Company went into India, at that time, you know, India represented 25% of the whole world's GDP. GDP. Do you know that? Like, you know,
I'm not disputing these facts.
Right?
These are facts, and you're speaking facts. I mean,
and then what the British India, the East India Company had done was they'd gone there to trade initially anyway, right? But then as they gathered more power, imagine like Apple, for example, now, yeah, Apple starting off, they come into this country.
As of today,
right?
India's economy is larger than the UK's.
Yeah, it is. Okay, but that's because the UK's economy has been managed extremely shit anyway. Like, we've been on the low.
So can we not move past the fact that, you know, can we now at a stage say India's made reparations from its loot, whatever was looted from it, is now recovered?
No.
It has recovered though, because it's got a bigger economy than the UK. So it has recovered.
It's a big economy in the UK, but the UK will take over in India like tomorrow again. So what you have to realize is like the opportunities that are being lost. Okay, India is a very big and up and coming country. Okay, yeah, it's hard to put India down there because of how big it is, right? Okay, yeah, but what it has happened in the past is it's lost a lot of money in the past. And it's still trying to recover from that. So that's what I mean in terms of the legacy of the empire, right?
So you're talking about this legacy.
We've gone from one of the biggest countries in the world at that point, okay, yeah, to literally then into poverty. We had famines. We had partitions in our country. These are all legacies that we continue to live with.
I'll say the point that I'm sure someone watching will be thinking is, okay, if you're this bothered by the legacy here, and you're so passionate about India, why do you live here? Why don't you just go back to India?
Because this is... Okay, then I'm glad that you said that too. Okay, look, what I'm trying to see here, there are two Britons that I see. Okay, yeah, there's a Britain which is a democratic Britain. Okay, which is based on meritocracy. Okay, which is based on the principles of democracy, equal opportunity, where everybody's equal. There's that Britain. Okay, yeah, with the Britain that I love and I embrace. Okay, and then running parallel to that Britain is a Britain that is undemocratic. Okay, that is fucking stuck in its past. Okay. And that is like based on the monarchy, and that's the Britain that I dislike. And this is the Britain that has come to the fore, especially since the Queen's died, because all of a sudden we score, our Queen, or My Majesty, all of this stuff. Okay, yeah. What you have to realize, what the monarchy represents is actually completely different to our own very own principles, according to our we don't have a written constitution, but when you look at the UK, it calls itself a democracy. But what it's completely the monarchy the system that we have with the monarchy, it's completely like it just doesn't sit with it. So that's the Britain. I'm not saying to you, let's get rid of blah blah blah. I hate Britain and all. I told you I love Britain, but I told you the Britain I love. This is the Britain that is outdated. If you look at the monarchy, the House of Lords, okay, yeah, so many unelected people. Like there's Labour now actually. So Gordon Brown was commissioned to actually like carry out a study, and they've come up with proposals for the next elections. Is they're going to reform, like there's going to be huge constitutional like reforms. Okay, yeah. Right. House of Lords is another thing that's extremely outdated. Okay, nobody's elected in that House of Lords. Okay, just like the monarchy, nobody's elected. You are literally given those positions because of how you are born, right? So that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm worked up over. I'm worked up over that Britain. That just doesn't sit right with the Britain that we say we are.
So the answer for you is to abolish the monarchy.
100%.
And then you're happy to live in Britain and continue to...
Yeah, I'm happy to live in Britain right now, but you got to fight for what's right, what's wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it is true there is a lot of taxpayer money that goes to the Queen.
And it's we haven't even
But there's the argument that we live in the Crown's land.
Yeah, but then the whole concept is outdated. Why? Like, why do we don't live in the Crown's land?
We live in the United Kingdom.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say.
What do you want to call it? The United Republic?
Yeah.
That sounds so shit, bruv.
We need to be a republic. If you look at all of the countries now, is America a monarchy? No. Is France a monarchy? No. Is Germany a monarchy? No. Okay, yeah. If you look at all these countries that are progressive,
so you think
that are developed,
you think it's more okay? Ideologically, a lot of people may even agree with you. Yeah, I might agree with you, right?
Okay,
but you need to be pragmatic at times.
Pragmatic. Look,
Amrit, it's not a case of United Republic, let's go. Do you understand the magnitude of the changes that would be necessary? And like
100%.
There are a lot of other factors that go into the monarchy. Yes, they do bring in income, tourism, Buckingham Palace.
You know what? That's disputable.
Yo, what would happen
If
to
you
that?
were to name 5 London landmarks,
Yeah.
Buckingham Palace would be in the top 5 of a lot of people.
Okay, no. Buckingham
yeah.
Palace would be okay, yeah. But tell me, tell me, you actually believe people travel from a different country to come here to see Buckingham Palace, to see the Queen?
There are people in this world that do that. Yes.
Yeah. But
Very
she was,
far
interviewed like on the BBC. Loads of people do that. Every time relatives come from like India,
Yeah.
that's like one of the biggest
They
things
want to see the Queen. Let's go see the Queen. That's their day out.
Yeah, but then do they travel solely for the Queen? No, it's a day out. Okay, you're in UK. Well, okay, we're in London.
Yeah, but that's how tourism. Let's not get into the semantics of how tourism works.
So look,
that's
like,
tourism.
when you guys go to Spain, do you guys go to Spain because you want to see the monarchy in Spain?
No, but I want to go because I want to see the beach or I want to see whatever Spain offers. That's how tourism works.
Loads of people go to India to see Taj Mahal.
Yeah, but I just don't buy this whole thing about like our economy. You know what? There is some aspect to income from tourism, but it's not enough when you actually calculate.
I'll give you another important role the Crown plays, and I kind of took this from the Netflix series The Crown as well.
Go on.
There's several episodes where the Crown can act as like a diplomatic bridge.
It's called soft power.
Let me finish.
It's called soft power.
It's between where there's an instance where 2 prime ministers of different countries really don't get along, and that's very common. You see that nowadays. They don't get along, but if a prime minister goes to see another prime minister, they don't care.
Yeah.
If the Crown, the Queen of England, goes to see them, the King of England, oof, it's a totally different conversation.
I get that, and that's
totally different conversation.
Yeah. So look,
and
what you're referring to,
we do understand that the Crown is non-partisan, but it does offer diplomatic solutions.
It does offer.
So from a foreign state point of view, is there not a plus for us?
No. This
another leveraging hand.
Okay. Look, the Crown. What it has is soft power. Okay, very correctly you identified that the fact that people of other states would come and it's like a bit of a pomp and so on. It improves relations with other nations. Okay, yeah, and that's a plus. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But when you actually look at the overall costs of the monarchy, okay, yeah, I still think it outweighs the cons outweigh the pros. So the pro
potentially, but it's a pro.
No.
Imagine someone. You say yourself, Boris Johnson is that disgraceful, right?
Yeah.
Imagine the leader of India or Putin, Russia. He just doesn't respect Boris one bit.
They don't.
Doesn't look at him as equal at all. And now you abolish the monarchy. The head of the US, you use the US as an example without a monarchy, but the US president has a stature of a king almost.
Okay.
Right? When Barack Obama, Donald Trump, you're going to see the top guy.
Yeah.
Number one.
Okay.
Right? The Prime Minister in the UK doesn't have that feeling.
Yeah, because...
Do you want it to have that feeling?
No.
And it would have that feeling.
No, it's not.
Should you abolish the monarchy?
Look, okay.
There's always going to be a number one.
No, there's always going to be number one, okay, yeah? And in the UK, there are 2 number ones.
Who?
That's the problem. The Prime Minister's office and the monarchy, right? There are 2 number ones in this. If you look at the monarchy, okay, yeah, it has no real political power. Like, obviously, it has no political role, right? What you have, the way the constitution is set up in the UK...
We know that.
Okay, no, but what I'm trying to say to you is, this is why it kind of undermines the PM's office a little bit as well, having the monarchy, because there are 2 number ones.
But,
okay?
But...
No, hold on.
But would you want...
Okay, look, if you look at Germany... Okay, well, who's the most important person in Germany? No, I'm not being...
You are, because you don't rate or respect Boris Johnson yourself, but imagine he's still in power. Liz Truss is in power. Yeah. You don't have the monarchy there. Do you want them to not be undermined? Do you want them to be number one?
Well, then if look, I'm talking about the sanctity of the Prime Minister's office, okay, yeah?
Yeah.
Does it need to be respected? 100%, okay, yeah? If there's a buffoon in there... So be it, okay, yeah? But then at least they'll be listened to properly by internet. You made a point about...
But why would you want a buffoon to be listened to?
No. What you made a point about is the fact that, like, sometimes, people don't get on with Boris Johnson. Other leaders may not get on with Boris Johnson or Liz Truss for a matter of fact, okay, yeah? But then it kind of is softened by the Queen and the monarchy, okay, yeah?
Yes.
The fact is, it shouldn't have to be, okay? Even if you've got... No matter who you got, the Prime Minister's office is the highest office in this country, okay, yeah? In a similar way, you said... the presidents in America, for example. Now, you tell me if there was another person who was unelected, okay, yeah, above, or even, let's say if they had a king or a queen, Americans, okay, yeah, that would undermine the importance of presidency itself. It will.
Well, listen, if it's my land...
No, but then...
I want it to be my land, but I don't want to run it in the country.
What?
If it's my land,
Yeah.
say the UK is the king's land, it's their land, they don't necessarily want to run the country, so the Prime Minister go do it.
No, but then the whole... who gives them the land? Why should they have all the land because they were born in that family? The concept of it is because...
They're anointed by God.
They're anointed by God. But does that really sit well in the 21st century? You know, but this is... You know what this is? This is feudalism. We moved on from feudalism about 400 years ago. 300 years ago.
Do you not think, though, it's just more... Like going back to that point, do you think just being pragmatic now, is it not just more of a big thing to abolish the monarchy than to just... Let's keep going.
No, because I think if it needs... Look, our constitution, like the way this country is set up, it needs reform. Huge reforms, okay, yeah. And as I said, that's something that Labour have been working on now. It's going to be part of their manifesto in the general election. So literally Gordon Brown had finished a study where he'd made a report about what changes would need to be made. And one of the foremost ones is actually abolishing the House of Lords. Right? If you look at it, and even like this, and then like if you need to do it bit by bit. I'm not saying tomorrow, okay, we'll rip off that fucking page, right? Rip off this page. I'm not saying that. What it needs is it needs reforms from the bottom up. And the very concept of the monarchy, right? You're saying this is look, technically, legally, we both know because we've done land law, okay, yeah? All of the land in the country belongs to the crown.
Yep.
Right? So King Charles is actually the technical owner of all of the land in the country.
Correct.
Right? And we just own a piece of time in that land, right? But how do you sit there with that concept? The fact is, like, this is so outdated.
But who are you? Who are you to own land?
No, but I'm not saying, like, okay, if I paid for a house, right? Okay, yeah. Technically, it's my house, right?
Same in Spain.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Owned by the
so, but then who are the counter?
Okay, fine.
You know, we get into pedantics of this, okay? But what I'm trying to say...
Final point now, yeah. What's your boys' thoughts on the Kohinoor itself? Us being Indians, what do you expect it to stay in England? Do you want it to be returned to India? What's your thoughts on this?
You know, if I genuinely think, okay, yeah, the cultural importance of Kohinoor, if you look at the circumstances it was taken, the Kohinoor here, okay, yeah, it was gifted to the crown, okay, yeah. It was gifted by a 7-year-old, okay, who didn't fucking know anything. He was a little child, Maharaja Dalip Singh.
Right.
Maharaja Ranjit Singh's son. At that time, after the Sikh Empire, Punjab had fallen, Lahore, right, okay, had fallen. What they had done was actually taken Dalip Singh in because he was in line to be the king. And they'd put him under the care of these two British people, this couple, okay, yeah. And at that point, they'd taken the Kohinoor and made it so as it was being gifted to them. What they did to Dalip Singh is actually one of the saddest things, okay, that you could possibly think. And it wasn't just happening to Dalip Singh; it happened to a lot of like other princes and princesses from Africa and also from Nepal as well. What they had basically done was just taken those princes and princesses who were quite young at that time, brought them to the UK, and basically like Maharaja Dalip Singh had converted from Sikhi to Christianity,
right.
And then later in his life he actually converted back to Sikhism, and then he wanted to go back to Punjab. And the British were so scared at that point that if they let him go back to Punjab, it will actually like kick up a revolution again, because people felt so close to them. So when you look at it in that when I kind of like went off track a little bit, it's like talking about the Dalip Singh. But if you look at it in that sense, okay, yeah, it was really stolen, right? The Kohinoor here, and it should rightly be returned. And there is an argument.
So you think it should be returned?
Yeah, and I know there is an argument that people make. Well, who would it be returned to? It'd be returned to the most corrupt government we've had for years in India. I get that point, okay, yeah, but I'm not saying. And even, to be honest, I wouldn't want to be returned to right now, because if tomorrow UK returns the Kohinoor to India, right, yeah, this is like a huge propaganda for Modi himself. He'd be like, look, I brought the Kohinoor back, etc. So I wouldn't have want it happen under his regime. But at some point, I think once we have a more sensible, once we have a more democratic regime in India, it's only right that it's returned, and it should be the property of the public in India, right? It should be there for them to see. It shouldn't be in somebody's it shouldn't be locked up in a vault in a bank or something.
What's your thoughts?
I'm not gonna lie, I agreed with a lot of the shit he said, but like when we talk about the Kohinoor, right? The truth is, my honest opinion, I don't really care. Like, look, it got stolen, innit? Yeah, like you said, it's here now. Who gives a shit? Like, it's just here now. If it goes back to India, what are they gonna do with it? where is it actually?
Is it
gonna
not
go to?
almost disrespectful that it's like here though?
It's part of history. If you go to the V&A Museum, yeah, they've got like
I was gonna
Maharaja Ranjit Singh Ji's gold throne there. With,
Yeah, but what is it doing here though? That's what I mean. It's all loot.
Look, I understand that, but I'm saying go to like the V&A Museum, go to any museum, yeah? I'm not saying museums are right or wrong. I'm just saying you go there, it goes back to your earlier point, the British have stolen so much. Should that be returned? And yeah, should we be seeing the Kohinoor in India? And obviously, by doing that, could that increase tourism in India? More people would want to go there to see things in their original habitat. I think in an ideal world, yes, right? The same way Buckingham Palace is British and how the UK economy like strives. I was doing some research. Apparently, like the net worth of the Windsor something is like 19 billion, right? And we bring in like hundreds of £1,000,000 just from tourism. And I forgot Windsor Castle brings in a lot as well, right? But in the same way, should Indian artifacts be in India and benefit the Indian economy in the same way? Yes. Like truly and from the heart, I think yes. But
that's not the most sensible thing you've ever said in the whole of the.
no, it should. That's what I mean. Listen, yeah. The truth is let's not talk about the UK or just us right now. Look at the whole world. History isn't nice. Yeah, it has always been fucked. And the truth is, that's how shit went down, and now it's here. If the Kohinoor went back, like, what are they actually gonna do with it? Like, okay, I don't give a shit. And you know one thing I find a bit disrespectful while we're on the topic? I think Queen Lizzie, she died, and like minutes, like on the same day, so many meme pages, so many people in the comment section online. Lol, so can we get the Kohinoor back? To me, despite people's views on the monarch itself, despite people's views on the Queen herself, people genuinely need to show a little bit more respect and be a bit more human online. Yeah, because end of the day, in my opinion, the Queen was a human. People can, throughout our lifetime, there are going to be so many more podcasts and debates about the same subject. If she was good, if she was bad, if this, if that. Truth is, a human died. She was the queen of this country. Everyone out here chasing Lizzie. Yeah, she's the reason this little island is actually so powerful. I think you guys mentioned it.
She's not the reason. Listen, fucking hell,
no, I mean not her, but the whole royal family. It gives us so much power.
It gives us fuck all, bro.
Listen, sharp, yeah.
I've heard people say.
Listen, you could have got your harmonium out, yeah, and I never said nothing. I respectfully listened, yeah.
Okay, go on.
I can have his views as well, innit?
Go on.
Yeah. So why don't we as humans show a little bit of respect? Because if, in my opinion, the way I see things, if it's that deep, yeah, if it's that deep, the truth is, now we're in the King's Land, United Kingdom, yeah?
Keep going.
Go somewhere else.
Keep going.
No one is forcing you to be here. No one is forcing you at all to be here.
Yeah.
Like,
okay,
just listen, she died. Just say R.I.P., say calm, it's cool. Yeah, okay. Like, just... let's be a bit more respectful as human beings. But I think...
the fact that the argument that you just made, if you don't like it, go be elsewhere. Like how fucking brainwashed you are to say that as a brown person to another person. Well, if you don't like it, go fuck off, get out of that country. Like go back where you fucking like it. No! This is my fucking country. I've told you. There are two Britons that are parallel to each other. Right? Okay, yeah, right? So, and another point I want to make to you as well, like you just said, okay, why can't they just be respectful and all that? Loads of people die every single day, okay, yeah, and they don't get the fucking respect that they deserve, okay?
Yeah.
Somebody dies and you'll always find some fucking memes online about it, okay, yeah? That happens every time.
I'm not
what is so special about the Queen?
I'm not saying that's right either.
No, I'm not saying it's right, but it happens. So why is it that if I don't want to mourn and if I think, I don't give a shit, okay, yeah, why are you attacking other people? Like, why are you enforcing other people to be sad? Okay, there's this whole thing that in the UK that happened. Okay, the moment
I'm not saying. Listen, I'm not. Listen, Giza. I'm not saying. I'm not saying you should be sad. I'm not saying you should be sad, right? Who am I to tell you?
But why can I not express all my feelings about the Queen?
Respect. Someone just died.
No, but why can I not? If I don't give a shit about,
she was at the head of the country.
If Hitler died and people made memes, would you be like, oh no, we gotta be respectful?
Okay, I think I know you're gonna disagree with what I'm going to say, right? But like, Hitler was like some mad aggressive tyrant, right?
Yeah,
and you're probably going to say, "Oh, the Queen's a fucking."
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying she killed millions of people.
But listen, yeah, you can't compare the two, bruv.
No. But like, what I'm trying to say to you is, look, why is it then you made the point? She's a human. We should.
You know what? Maybe Amrit. Listen. Maybe
he was an evil human.
Hands up.
In my view, that Queen was an evil human.
Giza. Hands up, yeah. Maybe in this subject. I'm not the most educated. Maybe I need to do some more research about what the Queen's fuckeries actually were, right? So I'll do my research and be educated and form a better opinion. But as of where I stand right now, I just think online too many people take the piss. I think we should show, just as humans, be a bit more respectful. Someone died and you're saying Kohinoor, this, that. Half those people in the comment sections probably don't even know the origins of it, or just like on a bandwagon.
Like, bro, originally it was made in Afghanistan.
Wasn't it stolen from somewhere else?
No, it was made in Afghanistan at that point. It was by
so about 5 or 6 countries that want a share of it.
So where is it actually going to?
No. It's not even about the Kohinoor. Okay, what I'm trying to say to you. Okay, look, one thing I didn't like after this whole aftermath of the Queen when she died. Okay, people have a right to express their own opinion. Okay, yeah, the freedom of speech, and I'm always the first one to say, look, freedom of speech is a qualified right. You know, it's not absolute. You can't fucking say anything that you want. There's a difference between freedom of speech and like hate speech and all that, right? Okay, yeah, right. But if you look at the whole fucking atmosphere in the country, the whole the moment she died, look, there's who Trevor Sinclair is, the former footballer. He's one of the presenters on Talksport. Okay, yeah. And he basically said, in the aftermath of the Queen, on the very first day she died, he said, look, he said something along the lines of black and brown, there's so much, racism is so much rife and all that. Right?
I saw it.
Yeah. And there was like a huge backlash against him. People shut him down immediately. Talksport suspended him. He's not been back on Talksport since then, okay, yeah? And it's not just that, like literally people were stopped from saying and that's not even disrespecting the Queen, saying that the racism is rife.
I see both sides.
No.
I remember there was a hashtag trending saying, what was the hashtag that I sent in the group chat? Queen Lizzie, something like that.
Stay free, get Lizzie.
Let me find that. I need to find that right now.
No, but the point I'm trying to make is then there were people.
I also saw the Trevor Sinclair one.
Yeah, okay.
So
yeah.
I saw both sides of it. I saw the side that Ishan's saying, people were maybe too expressing the minute it happened.
Okay. And then also, if you look at it, this whole thing, respect the Queen, respect this is our Queen, all of that started, okay? You know the impact it had. The impact it had. There was one person, when the proclamation was getting done in Bristol for the King, okay, yeah, somebody held up a sign saying abolish the monarchy. That person was fucking arrested. You're telling me that's okay in a democratic country? So I can't say abolish the monarchy without being arrested during the time.
I don't know, man.
Thick Lizzie. That was what was trending in the United Kingdom. 14.2k tweets at the time. Hashtag Thick Lizzie.
What does that even mean? I don't.
Just taking the piss.
I don't get what it means.
Thick Lizzie. What? So Lizzie got a bunda like that?
Nah, but just people just taking the piss, like making.
No. There's one thing.
Distasteful memes.
No. There's one thing being distasteful. Okay. Yeah,
about that guy. Yeah. So look, like again, the Queen's has died. There's a time and a place.
No, now's the perfect time to say, look, the Queen's died. Abolish the fucking monarchy.
There's one point I want to get in as well. Right? Is I do think the fact that the whole country came to a halt. Obviously, football, sports went on. Yes, there are more important things than sport. Peter Crouch made this point, right? He tweeted it really nicely. He said, look, I understand there's bigger things than football, but football does act as a breakaway for people. It's part of people's lives.
Exactly.
It gives them a breakaway. And the thing is, maybe people don't want to be thinking about death constantly in this time, cost of living crisis, etc. They need the escape. That was one point I thought was quite good.
Yeah.
The other one, the fact that the funeral, etc., all cancer appointments were cancelled.
Oh, that's
hospital appointments. I think that was a bit over the top.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
everything was getting cancelled out of respect. Everything was getting cancelled out of respect. Like, what the fuck?
My mum passed of cancer. Yeah. I went to several appointments with her, and I know how much people like my mum look forward to these appointments because in their minds, this appointment is giving them life.
Yeah, it's life-saving.
You know, so a whole day, thousands of people not having their appointments. That was something I didn't agree with.
Yeah.
You know, so there were these couple of things that I thought, you know, yes, be respectful, but are we going a bit too much here? And by the way, this whole funeral is funded by taxpayers' money.
Exactly.
You know, so there's a few things to consider. But look, let's close out this episode. I think we've all said what we wanted to say.
There's a lot of aggro that's still left.
Yeah.
And
I was gonna say, I know it's been a long episode, yeah, and I'm happy to shut it here. But I was like, you know, what? Amrit, what are your views on like seeing what like the good stuff she done for the country? She must have done a lot of good.
Okay, you know what? Okay, people talk.
We've just talked about
She was a very dutiful queen.
Okay.
The biggest respect that everyone has paid the queen. She was extremely dutiful. Even Philip at times, you know, it's documented, was a bit like,
loose cannon.
like, what is this? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
She stuck to a role.
No, she stuck
commendably.
To no,
bro.
okay. Yeah, no, that's good.
For me, the most badass moment, yeah, was when she drove past the Saudi Arabian, what do you call him, like the king?
Yeah, the Saudi.
Yeah.
Sounds the Saudi.
Obviously, women couldn't drive in Saudi, and when he landed in the country, she whipped past him in the range. He's a.
And then she's also very close to the guy, you know, the UAE Emirates king, who fucking kidnaps his own daughters and kills his own daughters.
Yeah, Amrit basically has nothing nice to say.
Let's go over that.
Right, listen.
Okay,
Look, the topic was how should minorities feel? That maybe we're figuring it out. Maybe what we said related to you.
And
if it did, smash the like button, and we'll catch you for the next episode soon.